Welcome to the Good Karma Sport Fishing Podcast. I'm your host, Captain Ryan Van Fleet. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So this morning I received a direct message from somebody that was coming down here on vacation. They had rented a boat. They're super excited to go fishing. They're from Rhode Island. And then they're hearing on the news, which I watched the other day because I heard through a random that something was put on CNN about a big blob of seaweed that's 10 times the size of the United States of America is coming our way. Well, I don't know. You can't control Mother Nature. But here's a lot of things that's going on. First, there has been zero weed out there. There's no weed this morning. Every morning I get up and I look at all the security cameras and I see, I can tell when there's weed, the marina will be full of it. And I'm like, it's going to be one of those days. And then other days it's not there. So we've had a lot of rip and current out there. The stuff's been moving through pretty quickly when it does. I don't know. It's pretty crazy. But anyways, so I get this message and I'm like, whoa. And then I do a little bit of research and I'm seeing that it's there was this CNN interview with one of the universities talking about all the seaweed out there and it's going to how the potential damage is. Well, guys, it's hard to fucking say what's going to happen, okay? So, first of all, it's Mother Nature. And the last round of weed, it really didn't stick around for very long. It just kept on moving. And you're seeing a lot of it come through the Caribbean currents down there. And a lot of it's getting caught up in Jamaica. It's getting caught up down on the Caribbean islands, Cancun, down that way. Whether it's going to make it all the way here? Yeah, some of it is. But whether it's going to be bad? Who knows? Who knows? Okay? Now, they didn't really track this stuff back in 2011 when we really had, 2011 it started, but I think it was 2017. I don't know. It's been 5 years since we really started seeing the bad shit. And you guys know I'm not good with time. So I've got, like I said, this is all written out in the blog. If you guys want to really dig into the science behind it and where this stuff is coming from, I really just laid it out for you. I did a ton of research, tracked the movements. It's there for you. Dig into the blog, okay? It just tells you where the shit's coming from. So the way it looks right now on the satellites this morning is a lot of this stuff is making its way through the Caribbean currents, okay? And what happened with the last round of it looked like a lot of that stuff got caught up in Jamaica. It gets caught up in Guadeloupe. All the islands down there are getting it. And, Cancun, the shit's washing up on shore down there. And then I'm seeing it on the satellites is kind of dispersing before it gets to the loop current. So, and also too, if you look really close, and I'll give you a link in the blog where you can actually follow this stuff. And they update it daily, okay? It's actually, I think it's a Mexican government site, and it's the absolute best site for monitoring the daily tracking of this stuff. And where's it going? So there's a big mess of it that's coming through the Caribbean current right now, and then it'll make its way down through Jamaica, the Cayman Trench, and then it'll come, it'll wrap its way up around Cancun, it'll find its way into the loop current, and then who knows, okay? Like I said, a lot of this shit is getting caught up down there. And what we're not seeing this year is there's in the Lesser Antilles current, okay, that's the stuff that it kind of splits down there. And it goes around the other side and it comes up on the other side of the Bahamas and then cuts through that way into the Gulf and, connects to the Gulf Stream. And if you want to follow the paths of the current, I have that on the blog as well. So, and I basically line out the dolphin migrations for you, okay? So that's another thing. Now, if the dolphin are getting cut off down there with all that weed and they're taking the Lesser Antilles current, which isn't a very strong current, by the way. You can tell which way that current's moving in the graphics that are outlined on that website. And the current is really moving through the Caribbean down there. And then there's the Lesser Antilles current, and there's not much of it, and therefore you don't see much weed in that area. So, hence, where the dolphin might be traveling. They might be taking that upper course in that upper Lesser Antilles current and avoiding the Caribbean current and then then North Carolina's fucking slaying them. Okay, so that's what probably is happening. They're avoiding it, or they're getting cut off there by the longliners and somewhere in that area, and that's it, and then it is what it is. So that stuff's out of our control, and the government says they're going to step in and do something. Well, there's just, they got to have all their numbers and all that shit, and whether we're actually going to see it, who knows? The gov's the gov nowadays. I don't know. I see a lot more fishing restrictions, more so than actually looking to get to the root cause of the issues than anything else. So we can bark up all we want and complain, but it's actually going to take a lot of money on the lobbyist side to make any sort of difference out there in tightening things up and figuring out the root cause, and that's what it's going to take. You can put all the booms you want out there, but if it's going to come, it's going to come. There's just, you have to get to the root cause, and the root cause is more than likely pollution in Africa, runoff of the rivers over there. You can see exactly where this shit's coming from, and nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody, for some reason, I don't know why. Nobody wants to point fingers, and nobody wants to get involved. Who knows? Whatever. Politically correctness nowadays. Cancel culture. Oh my God. So everybody's afraid to say something. Well, I'm not, because I don't give a shit. I'm just going to tell you guys like it is. So from my opinion, okay, this is just an opinion, and based on the research that I do, I watch the satellites every day. It's part of my morning routine as far as tracking fish movements and all that good stuff. So this morning I got up, I seen all this still seeing this shit down in the Caribbean. What I'm seeing is, though it is dispersing, it's getting kind of pushed into the island chains. So as it starts to reach Cancun, it's like it seems to be getting pushed more into the into their shores down there, and then Jamaica's getting hit pretty good. All those little islands down there, the Caymans. So whether we're going to see a lot of it, I don't know. I don't see it in the Lesser Antilles current at all. I mean, it's not there on the satellites. It looks actually really good. I think a lot of this stuff that we're seeing, is from all the shit in Florida Bay that gets pushed out on the north wind and west wind and all that good stuff, and then on heavy tides and on new moons. I can correlate and go back to we started seeing a lot of this stuff around the new moon. We had some really strong outgoing tides, and it pushed a lot of dead grass out of the Gulf, and then it pushed out into the Atlantic, and then it made its way up the coast there. So and then we had another, if you get it like a south wind and you have a lot of seaweed up to the north along the coast, that stuff gets pushed back down. So there's just a lot to it. Now, what everybody's doing now, they're taking a lot of pictures of the beaches and trying to get social media attention, and and I put pictures out there just to let the guys know that, hey man, there's some weed out here. You got to get your shit together and be ready. You may not be able to drag certain lures that you want. You got to make adjustments. You may not be able to, if you come out that you just want to troll and you got a bunch of weed out there, you may not be able to do it. So you might have to run and gun. You might have to do something else if you're looking for dolphin fish. But guys, fear culture is fucked up. Okay. So like I said, I got a call from somebody in Rhode Island. They're saying that Florida's a stink bomb right now. What the fuck? Okay, we do have a red tide over in Fort Myers, Marco Island. It happens after a hurricane. This isn't anything new with that kind of stuff. Anytime we have a hurricane, the environment gets all fucked up. A lot of you guys don't remember Irma because a lot of you guys weren't affected by it. We lived through it. The Keys did. And yeah, we got our asses kicked down here. So, and yeah, we seen some nasty shit after that. We seen bad grass. We seen the bay get ripped apart. We had a drought. And then we had all the water that was getting, we had a drought that year, so it didn't come south and it just wrecked the bay. So, I mean, We Mother Nature, man. And then now we're fighting, all the other shit that goes along with it. So here's the deal. If you're traveling down here, okay, first thing you do is you just got to call your hotels. Okay? You got to call your hotels. See if they have a plan in place for sargassum removal. 90% of them will, okay? And the good hotels are going to have their shit together, and they're going to have a cleanup going, and they'll get that stuff off the beaches for you in the morning. And the stuff doesn't just keep coming in and coming in. And just know that. Now, certain parts of the island chain always have weed, and it always smells. It's just how it is. The dead grass comes up on the shallow flats, and it dies. And there's just certain parts of the Keys that have that stinky grass smell. It's an island, man. Come on. So, and the sargassum doesn't give a shit if you bought a new boat and a whole bunch of trolling rods either. So, and a whole bunch of islanders and nomad plugs. It doesn't care. And it just like, it is what it is. So, and like I tell the guys that in my rigging crew is that I'm teaching them to make some adjustments mentally. Okay. First of all, we have to be grateful that we still get to go fishing. And I'm not going to let it ruin my charters. I haven't for the past how many years. I've just adapted. I'm very honest with the clients about it. If we can't do a type of fishing that they want to do and they think that somebody else can do it, I let them go to them because I don't give a shit. Because 9 times out of 10, that guy is just telling them a story just to get their business, and it is what it is. So, and also too, what'll happen is, usually their shallow water fishing gets a little weird. There's a lot of tricks to fish in the grass, and that's what I'm teaching the guys in my group, and how I've been doing it for the past how many years, and I've been fighting a good fight now, both on the bottom and with trolling with it. So it is what it is. So I don't let it get me down. I'm very grateful that I still can go fishing and can do what I do every day. And a lot of people need to realize that as well. And sometimes, you wake up in the morning and you got to like, oh shit, I got to go fight this weed. Well, there's worse things in life. So as far as what CNN saying about Florida is going to be destroyed from weed and all that other shit, they're full of shit. They got a way of twisting people's words around, and the media now needs something else to feast on. So if you guys have if you guys really want to learn about the weed, then you need to go to my blog, pull up my blog, learn about the ocean currents, put away and then watch the satellites on your own. You don't need to watch the fucking news to figure out what's going on. They're right there in front of you. I give you the link. You can pull up the link, you can watch it, you can see where it's at, you can see it hit the loop currents, you can see it wash around. Learn about it, okay? There's an awesome group called Sargassum Monitoring. You can see what's going on down there in the Caribbean. Now, what I'm seeing with Sargassum Monitoring is that group is that they're trying to feast you in fear. So it's pretty normal to have weed on the beaches in the morning on any of the Caribbean islands, okay? And then they get up in the morning, they move it, they pile it up. That's just how it goes. If you get a strong wind, it's pretty on certain islands, depending on where that island lays. Yeah, it's going to be weedy. That's just how it goes. That's like that all the fucking time. Okay? So it's like that down here. It's not going anywhere. So study it. Learn it on your own. Okay? Figure it out. It's easy. I give you the tools. But don't cancel your vacations and do any of that shit. Okay? And no, I'm not going to cancel any charters because of weed. I know how to fish through it. I adapt and do all that shit. I catch fish no matter what. I'm by far not lazy. I pull the weed on my own. If I don't think we can battle it today, we're not going to fight it. We're going to do something else. If somebody doesn't like it, tough shit. And yeah, tough shit. So I can't control Mother Nature. There's nothing I can do some days when you have to battle in that stuff. You have to fish for what you can fish for. It is what it is. And you know what? Yeah, the next day might be pretty good because every day is different, and that's just how it goes out there. And if you're fishing with another charter, anywhere up and down the coast or anywhere in the Caribbean, cut that charter guide's a break and get off his back about the weed. It is what it is, okay? a really good charter guide has a plan in place to adapt to the weed, to do something else. And be careful booking with these fish booker guys, because there's a lot of new guides out there that don't really understand what's happening out there, okay? They don't have the gear to combat weed. They don't understand ocean movements. They don't understand where to be. They can't adapt to the weed. So just be careful with that. So if you're going to try to book an inexpensive charter, because, just know that you might just get an inexpensive charter. There's a lot of guides out there that are like really undercutting a lot of really good guides, and they're undercutting and offering these like crazy low prices, and you're going to get a crazy low price charter. So, yeah. You'll end up on some public wrecks that's going to be loaded with weed, loaded with people, loaded with spear divers. Yeah, man. There's going to be days where you're going to catch them, and then he's going to keep going there. And I'm just telling you guys, just use a lot of caution. If the guy doesn't have a really good website, if he's working out of his house or a local community park, I'd be really concerned about that. Yeah. So... just saying. Okay, so you want to get caught up on the blogs. This is what you need to do. You need to go to my website, and you need to go to and click on my blogs page. The first blog you need to read is the best mahi fishing tips, migration patterns. That'll tell you that it basically tells you how the fish get into the Keys through the currents. And then you want to go to the blog. I talk about the Sargassum. I give you guys everything I've got as far as the research and all that stuff. Very good. I put in a lot of time on it. I give you guys maps. It's called the South Atlantic Ocean Sargassum Problem dash South Florida and the Florida Keys dolphin fishing. So check that out. Educate yourselves. I give you all the links in there for what you need as far as doing your own research for the vacations that you're going on. I give you the link to the Sargassum monitoring group where you can go into that, become part of that group, and then you can find somebody that might be down at the hotel. Also, too, if you're going to the hotels, you want to look for their beach cams and see what's happening in the mornings. You can tell on the removals. Some people think that they're manipulating the resort cams, but I gotta tell you what, they don't really have a lot of time to do that down there. So coming from somebody that lives on an island, that's the last thing they want me to manipulate. And also too, if you're coming to the Keys, you can see the Sargassum from the most of your resorts, resort cams. So yeah, just keep that in mind as well. Check the resort cams. There's tons of resort cams. They show the beaches. They tell you what's going on. And that's my advice to you guys. Yeah, so that's all I got. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, anytime you're fishing, it's all good.